Welcome everybody back to Monetize Your Superpower. I have the glorious, wonderful, amazing Jay Diamond with me. We have known each other for, gosh, years and years now. Jay is a two-time international best-selling author and a love and intimacy coach who helps singles find their soulmate and couples stop living like roommates. Ooh, that's good. As a personal development expert, she helps her clients turn pain into power and stand on top of their story, not underneath it. Her superpower is helping abuse survivors, and she has a book called From Abuse to Abundance that I helped you with. She's been featured in Huffington Post, Urban Social Dating, Elephant Journal, and London and Surrey Times. She firmly believes we all deserve healthy love no matter what happened in the past. And she was also nominated as like the top love coach in like everywhere. I'm just like, so Jay,
we'll say that world dominating
the whole universe and galaxy, right?
Yes.
So first off, let's start out with why you do what you do. Like, what's behind all the stuff that you do?
Well, you know, when I'm doing interviews and things like that, people often lead with, 2 times bestseller, and she's had a best dating coach nomination, and she's been featured in Fox and NBC, and that's great and it's true. But what most people don't know about me is there was a time in my life when I had completely given up on love, completely. And I literally remember like being face down on the carpet in my living room with this mix, these tears, a mix of like grief and humiliation. I could feel the carpet just like scraping my face. Because although everything else in my life was really taking off, and I was becoming very successful in what I was doing at that time, the thing that I really burned for the most, which was to have a partner and to have a family, it was just, it was like just not happening for me. And there seemed to be a key that wouldn't turn, because I'd done lots of therapy and lots of personal development work, which was great, and I'd done lots of work on recovering from sexual abuse, of forgiving myself, of forgiving my parents, of getting a greater relationship with my body, of forgiving life and moving forward. And although things had got progressively better, it was like there was this missing piece when it came to men. And it's a key that just wouldn't turn. And I don't know if you've ever been in the bath where you submerge yourself underwater and there's just like silence and stillness and no breathing. I just felt completely isolated. And I remember at that time thinking, that's it, I'm going to have to give up this dream. I'm never going to be a mother. I'm never going to be a wife. And I'm just going to have to deal with it. And so that's the place where I was at, really giving up on that dream. But the thing is, I knew how to, on the outside world, wear the armor, that coat of armor that I would say, oh, well, I'm sure love will come when it's time. And I could keep that poker face, even when the Judge Judy's would say, oh, don't you think you're going to miss your chance to have children? You're getting older now. Oh, you're so picky. What's wrong with you? As if I wasn't judging myself enough. The thing is like I deeply know how it feels to hold both grief and longing at the same time. But I also know how to overcome it. And what I did is I paired like dating strategy with very deep energy clearing, so that I could start to create better relationships, personal relationships. My friends' relationships were fine. It was just my personal relationships. And so that's why I'm so passionate now about helping men and women create healthy, authentic love, because let's face it, none of us really got a decent sex education, and barely any of us got a great relationship education. In fact, quite the opposite. And so for me, it's been like a real life's work and mission to really help people to come together in a healthy, authentic way, no matter what's happened in the past, no matter what family they've come from, no matter what they've experienced. So, for me, it's all about helping people reach that dream, that dream of true soulmate love. And that might be with a current partner right inside a current marriage and helping them to reconnect so that they're not living like roommates. Or it might be, you know, a woman or a man who's been single for 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 years sometimes, and helping them to go through that shift so that they can create that kind of dream love and have the love that they deserve.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Can I make you stand up?
Yes, you can. So I can show you. I'll put the camera down for the current situation.
So talk about somebody who had like given up, right? And how many times in life, just in general, in different areas of our life, do we give up and we say, let me settle, and this is as best as it's going to get. And this is all that I deserve, right? And what I love so much about what you do is it's not about that. It's about getting into the place where you can attract that right person, make it really juicy, and allow yourself to say, you know what, no matter what happened in my past, I deserve everything that I want, and I don't have to settle.
Yeah, it's such a paramount thing. Like for me, when I'm with my clients, like, and what I really, really believe is that we are all divine sparks of love. That's my true belief. And I feel that at our deepest core layer, that's who we are. But life happens. We grow up in families and they weren't parented right. Some of us have been through wars and civil wars and all kinds of difficulties. Some of us just always felt like the kid who never fitted in, or like me, I had terrible skin growing up. People don't believe it now, but I had really bad acne, and it horrendously affected my confidence. Now, something like that, it goes into your relationships. And I really believe that no matter what, we really all deserve true, authentic love. And what it takes is peeling off the layers. It's just peeling off the layers to come back to what and who you already are and finding that in another.
Right. And would you say that's your superpower? Like, I know people come to you because they maybe feel like they've given up, or like they don't deserve the love or whatever that is, or they want more intimacy in their relationship. But what really is that superpower that maybe people don't realize about you?
My biggest superpower is working with abuse survivors. Because I am one, and because I know how insidious it can be in all different parts of someone's life. So for me, it was sexual abuse, and for someone else, it might be physical, emotional abuse, or neglect. But there's something about that kind of just goes to such a deep core place in a person that it can take quite a while. So, like, you know, saying fluffy affirmations and reading a couple of self-help books ain't going to do it. You know, you really need to go deeper and again come back to this core intrinsic place of love and believe that you can have it. No matter what's happened before. If you've had a crappy marriage, or, you know, you've been single for 10 years, people shift within a few months. They can really, really shift. So, yeah.
I've seen the amazing work and the way your clients have shifted in their life and the stories that you've shared. And I want to tie in, because I think people don't realize how much their relationship actually affects the success.
Oh my gosh.
So can you share what you've discovered in your work with the connection of the two?
Yeah, because often with regards to relationship, one of the biggest issues, and it might not look this way on the outside, can be with the ability to be loved all the way through. All the way through, not just in the safe place, but that means being visible. And that means the ability to receive. And that means being fully in your purpose and power. And all of that directly relates to how you show up in regards to money, to keeping money, to growing money, to be able to receive money. At a chakric level, you know, I believe in the ancient systems and that relates to the chakras in the body. And so at the second chakra level, it's related to emotions and money, because there's this energy that kind of fits together. And you often find that people who have relationship issues often also have money issues. And sometimes it's around they're receiving, or maybe they give too much so they can make the money, but then the money goes out. So they've always kind of got it, but they're never keeping it or growing it. And what the massive thing I've noticed with my clients, especially ones who are married and partnered, is that if their relationship is off, it absolutely affects their work. And we love to think that work and home life are separate, but the truth is we all know they're not. When someone is going through a terrible divorce at work, it often does affect them.
Yeah. So what would you say is like the client that sticks out to you the most, that came to you with that desire, and what happened once they were done fixing, I don't even know how to say it, whatever was internal that was going on?
Going through that shift.
Yeah.
Well, if I think about one of my amazing clients I've just finished working with, who's got her own business. So she's, let's say she's about 35. She's got 2 grown-up children. She's done everything by herself, and she's done great in life. She is a successful woman, yet her relationships really aren't working. And she'd built up such a wall, and it didn't look on the outside like that. But the reality is we have all these different coping mechanisms to keep us safe from rejection, to keep us safe from hurt. And this can happen inside of a relationship as well. And so what was happening is that she was drawing in these great guys that would see her for a great time, but that was it. None of them would commit. And she got herself into a place where she started to think, well, maybe that's not what I want, or maybe it can never happen for me, or maybe it's just not real and it's all just like a fairy tale dream. And this is what some women go into when they've been hurt. They say, oh, well, it's, love's not real, it's just a chemical emotion, and all kinds of stories. Yet when we did the work, we found that because of her upbringing, because of how she'd experienced life, because she didn't have a dad around, because she'd had to find her own way, had a wall around her. And there's a difference between a wall and a boundary. So we had to do this piece around, what's the difference between blocking someone out and having a boundary that says, well, that's not my standard. Here's my standard. Would you like to meet me there? So, as a result of that, I mean, she messaged the other day saying that this guy had approached her in central London just to tell her that which is quite unusual for London, just to tell her that she's beautiful and she's got a good energy. And he was not expecting anything from her, wasn't hard hitting on her. It was just like from his heart. And he wanted to connect with her in her heart, because her heart's now open. She's like this magnetic field for open-hearted men. And so it won't be long. Because my last client, this is the thing, the thing is I don't hear from them for months. And then they message me 3-4 months later saying, oh, I forgot to tell you I'm pregnant. After the doctor told them that they can't have children naturally.
Yeah.
And then I see them on Facebook and I'm like, is that a bump?
And you guys can be twinsies together.
Twinsies, yeah.
Yeah, that is just amazing. And it's true that we have that energy that comes out. And I love how you talk about the wall versus the boundary.
Yeah.
Like, that's everywhere in our life, not just relationships with people, right? It's everywhere where we put up those walls where we think that maybe they're boundaries and they're not. I love that. So if you had something that you wanted people to know about what you coach on or what you teach, or something that like goes against what people say out there, what would you want people watching to know?
I want people to really deeply know that you are the director, the writer, and the main star actor in your life. And in order for you to fully create the story of your life in the way that you want to create it, you have to take responsibility for it. Because here's what a lot of us do. We have difficulties in relationships, or difficulties with money, or difficulties with going into life purpose. And we point the finger out there and we say, you're doing this, you're doing that, society's going down the tubes, it's nothing to do with me, and there's nothing I can do about it. And the moment that you start to tell that story, it's so disempowering, your power drains from you and you become a victim of life. And what happens is that when you decide to put yourself at the center, to take responsibility for your life, that no matter what's happened before, and maybe even the unhealthy things that you've learned that you're still working through, when you take responsibility for that and you say, all right, so I didn't know that stuff then, but I'm learning about it now, you fill your power tank. Mm-hmm. And you become that writer, creator, director, heroine or hero of your own life. But it can only happen through self-responsibility. Every time you catch yourself pointing out there, mm-hmm. look at the 3 fingers pointing back at you, mm-hmm. and think, okay, is there something in me that I can shift and change, or what's life trying to teach me here? And the moment we start to live from that place, everything starts to change for the better.
But is it about, because I don't want people to get this part wrong, blaming yourself?
Oh God, no, absolutely not. If I think about how I was in relationships, listen, let me be honest with you for a moment, and how the underlying anger I had towards men because of my experiences, and the underlying anger I had, to life because of what I'd experienced. I was doing the best I knew how to do at that time. And people often say, well, how can you blame me if I was in this awful relationship, or that person treated me badly? And it's not about that. That person's behavior is all on them. Mm-hmm. But me, whether I have a wall or a boundary, whether I choose to stay or go, whether I keep choosing the inappropriate or unhealthy behavior, that's my responsibility. And this is the trick, whether we like it or not. The only person who can change it is you. And you can get guidance, and I have. And you can get teachers, and I have. And you can get coaches, and I have. And they can teach you everything under the sun, but they can't make you do it. Only you can take your power and run with it. So for me, that's really what it's all about. It's like, how can I create a more empowered position for myself and take my life from there? Hope that makes it clear.
Yes, definitely. And I know that you have a juicy little freebie for the people who are watching Monetize Your Superpower. So you want to tell them a little bit about that? There's one for singles, one for couples?
That's right, yeah. So the singles one is, I've got a Get Your Dream Guy dating masterclass, which is going to teach you some really great tips, but also again about creating this open-heartedness, so you can draw in this open-hearted person. So that's for the singles, especially for single women, really. And then the one that's for couples is really fun. It's an orgasmic connection class. So you can have it close on or close off. I mean, I suggest close off, but you don't have to. And it teaches you, it's a very simple technique, but once practiced, it creates this incredible, beautiful energy between you and your partner, where you can learn to move the orgasmic energy between you both. And that's, it's part of another class that I teach that's for couples, and again helps them to bring them closer from a heart space as well.
Yeah. We failed to mention that you did a TED-like talk on that subject.
TEDx for sex.
Yeah, that was amazing. Well, thank you so much for giving those freebies. I know that will help people with their relationships, and then in turn help them everywhere else in their life as well. And it'll just trickle into the other parts. Thank you for being on, Jay, and thanks for the freebies.
Thank you.